What's going on, family? We are back with another episode of the B-Cohn special. I hope you had, get this right, I hope you had an amazing Christmas. Hope you have a great new year and all that jazz. And let's get right into it. There's a lot to get into. I basically wrote down all the scores. I'm gonna take it kind of different this time. Just kind of talk about everything that happened last week. There's a lot of headlines out there, and we're going to dive into it. A lot of good headlines. So, just off the top, the Browns beating the Texans, and I know they just played last night and they beat the Jets. Like I said, my first prediction on the Beacon special, what did I say last week? I said Rams will win a playoff game, Browns will win a playoff game. I'm going out, and I don't really know if that's going out that much on a limb, um, but Joe Flacco. This is a stat you guys may not know. First quarterback in NFL history. For some reason, this is always stuck in my mind. First quarterback in NFL history to win or to go to the playoffs every year, his first 5 years, starting as a rookie, first 5 years, winning his Super Bowl on fifth with the Ravens. So, and you have to be, as a Browns fan, you have to be like, what do we do about Deshaun Watson? And this is why around the league, this is a perfect example of why running backs don't get their money. This is a perfect example of why certain positions, because sometimes you hit on a guy who's 39 years old off of his couch, who's putting together something. I mean, when's the last time the Browns were in the playoffs? One, the Browns, the Lions, and the Dolphins, all in the same year. This is the best. This is the best NFL season by a long shot. And you say, why? Because of the parity. It's anybody's Super Bowl. I don't care who you are. It's anybody's Super Bowl on any given Sunday. That's also why the NFL is the best league in the world. It's more so now this year than any year, in my opinion. It is the most wide open. You can say Ravens. Are we sure we're trusting Lamar? I mean, Lamar's only won one playoff game. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. Are we trusting Lamar? I mean, let's be honest. Are we going to doubt the Chiefs, even though they're looking a little shambly? So watch out for the Browns, man. They have a total team, and the thing is, they have a Super Bowl winning coordinator over there in Jim Shorts. Who do you win the Super Bowl with? Yeah, the Eagles. So that's my 2 cents on that. And then I got the Lions over the Vikings 30-24. Just a great story with Jared Goff. Just a real middle finger to Los Angeles, even though they're seeming to get their, like I said last week, they hit on a lot of draft picks, which will always put a franchise in a better position every time. It can save your season. 49ers hitting on Brock Purdy. That's why you can have Chad Greenlaw, Fred Warner, their safety who got injured, but Nick Bosa, Chase Young. I mean, they have so many players on the defensive side of the ball. Tavarius Ward. It's I don't know. So when you hit on big draft picks or late draft picks, it changes everything. And I just want to give a shout out to the Lions because the Lions, man, it's been a drought. It's been a long time coming. So just want to give a shout out to the Lions for securing that playoff spot. That's awesome. And then I have on my list of scores, just as some highlights to start the show, the Buccaneers over the Jaguars. Excuse me. Buccaneers over the Jaguars. Baker Mayfield. Did any of us see it coming? I know I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm not, I was not expecting him. Now granted, it was the perfect It was the perfect storm. The Falcons, they're always too little too late. Since Matt Ryan left, it's always been too little too late. The Saints, are you sold on the Saints? You might be sold on their defense, maybe. Their front seven, maybe. That's about it. And Marcus Lattimore is still a dog. But, and then we have the Panthers, they're garbage. Panthers, Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers. So this was the Falcons season to try to make a name for themselves, and I think maybe surprisingly so should have stuck with Desmond Ridder over Taylor Heineke, but I like the fact that they gave it a go because you have to, right? Now in retrospect, but be that as it may, the Buccaneers are firing. Mike Evans is showing you he still got it. Whoever picked him up in their fantasy league and snagged him off the old folks home waiver wire. I mean, this guy's been in the league since I was watching ball. Back when I mean, some old heads who have been playing. I'm talking like Keenan Allen would just got in the league, so and I just wanted to give a shout out to Baker. I don't think anybody expected that, and I'm happy for him. A friend of mine had a good point. Same with like Russ and Baker Mayfield. The expectations were too high at the beginning, and it almost seemed forced. It seemed like, well, you have to win a playoff game, or you have to, you have to win the Super Bowl. Because I'm pretty sure Baker won a playoff game. I could be wrong. But that was, so Buccaneers, shout out to the Buccaneers. Cade Otton coming up. Rashad White making some plays. Chris Godwin getting back to his former self. Watch out for the Buccaneers. Watch out for the Buccaneers. They're not my top sleeper because I have the Rams. Just because I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing from the Rams in terms of their offense, but the Buccaneers are right on their tail, and they got some dogs over there on defense. Levante David, I wanted him over Shaq Leonard. I wanted David over. I mean, they got some players, man. So, and then the next one, the next score that I circled, Cowboys Dolphins. Cowboys-Dolphins. So what did we learn from the Cowboys-Dolphins game? We learned that the Cowboys are a good team. I think we've known that. And honestly, what I saw was Dak Prescott make a game-winning throw and just left too much time on the clock. And with Tua and the boys, and you only need 45, 55 yards, and you have that much time left on the clock. I would have thought that Dan Quinn would have came up with a better defensive scheme to protect that drive. I don't know what, so I don't really know what happened with that. I think that's the only sore spot for Dallas was allowing that, and I think they played a good game. It was on the road. They're not a good team on the road. They're not. And if they don't win this Sunday, they're going to be a lock as the 5 seed and are going to have to go on the road against probably Baker Mayfield. And are you sold that the Cowboys are walking out of Tampa Bay? Cuz I'm not. I'm definitely not. Playoff football, this is why the NFL is the best league in the world. You know why? I said it maybe on the first or second episode. There are no series. There are no series. It's one game. That's it. Imagine if basketball and baseball had that. Their viewership would go through the roof. Every game would mean more. Every playoffs would mean more. More people would tune in. I'm just being honest. I would watch baseball. And I don't like baseball at all. Yeah, I was a grass fairy. Yeah, see me, fam. Yeah, for my grass fairies out there, what's up? Yeah, we don't want to compare. Let's just be honest. We don't want to compare. Anyway, so back to the Cowboys. They played that pass by Dak Prescott in the corner of the end zone to Brandon Cooks. What a great catch by Brandon Cooks. First off, second off, you got to. I tip my hat to the Cowboys. We're not gonna be, like I always say on the show, facts over feelings. It was a good game. That was a coin flip game. So that made me more confident in the Cowboys than it made me less confident in the Cowboys and more scared of them. You know what I'm saying? As in terms of like, it's the end of the football season. They're kind of getting together. They're on the road shambles, and they played a good game, and they played to win that game. They just left too much time on the clock and didn't have a good defensive game plan to stop Tua. All right, next one, Patriots over the Broncos. I'm going to stop here real quick because I'm not sure what is going on with the fact that Denver is not what I thought. I thought they were going to be better. And really, what is going on with Sean Payton and the way that he acted on the sideline? I think that may have been the week prior, or it may have been it's sad. What that entire thing is just sad because we know Russ as this, a little bit too much of a nice guy, so to speak. He's a little bit too presidential. He's running on the plane. He's that guy like he's the guy on your sports team that was a little too rah-rah and not good enough to be rah-rah. You know that guy. It was either a captain that the coach liked a little too much. He could do maybe one thing really well and then the rest of his game was trash or mediocre. That's what Russ is now in his career. And also, let's not forget, Russ always had a top-tier amazing defense while he played for the Seattle Seahawks. Because when he was on his rookie deal and they made those Super Bowl runs, you can do that. That's the Brock Purdy thing. It's all about hitting on the draft picks. So I wanted to stop there. Shout out to the Patriots on getting that win. They're not, they are, it's the first time I think in 20 years that the Patriots are shit. And they are, and that's okay. You guys had a great run. Maybe arguably the best run in sports history. So sit back, drink some wine. You have 6 fucking championships. I don't want to hear anything. And yes, we're going to talk shit to you the whole way. I'm sorry. I would expect that if the Eagles won 6 championships. But we took one away from you, and that's all that matters. And got our only one. Only Super Bowl, that is. All right, and on to more scores. I just wanted to touch on that Broncos game. Raiders Chiefs 20-4. Raiders go into Arrowhead. Antonio Pierce, old New York Giant, Super Bowl champion, linebacker, if you didn't know. And this is why you see Antonio Pierce. You see guys like Dan Campbell. You see cornerback coaches that are over in Dallas. I forgot. He's a Pac-Man Jones, I believe. I want to say it's Pac-Man Jones. I could be wrong there. I think that we're going to see more ex-players, which should happen. They need to get more head coaching opportunities because you garner more respect that way. You receive, and that's in any industry, right? I mean, if you're a professional and you did it at a supremely high level, you were a champion, you were, the number one in any aspect of any business at one point in your life, whether it be football, sales, whatever, construction, whatever. You garner respect and your words mean more, especially when you have to galvanize a group of men that are feeding their families. And I'll look at you and I say, well, he's done what I'm doing before. He's done the mini camps. He's done the long nights with film. He's done the traveling. He's done the prep work. He's done all that. So you garner more respect, especially from the young guys, I feel like, that are just coming into the league. Like, oh, coach, like, nah, coach used to be a dog. Was different. And so the Chiefs, do we think, am I worried about the Chiefs? I'm not worried about the Chiefs because they have Patrick Mahomes. I think we can all agree on that. What I will say is we now know that Eric Bieniemy had way more of an impact. And really, I didn't see a lot of shows cover this week. I didn't really watch as much. I've been kind of busy with my business and stuff. So you didn't really see that coming, the Raiders beating them in Arrowhead. And what I was getting to with Eric Bieniemy got sidetracked. Eric Bieniemy, we now know he had way more of an impact. Listen, Washington fans, if Ron is, you need to make Eric Bieniemy the head coach, I think, and he'll just run the offense. He will be the offensive headpiece. Maybe teach whoever's underneath in the offensive coordinator some different things, and maybe he'll be able to get some things for someone that you bring in. I'm not sure who you would bring in right now. Ron, it's okay to constantly change. The Eagles are a perfect example of that. Oh, Doug Peterson, you won our first Super Bowl? See ya. Oh, Nick Foles, you backup quarterback, outduels Tom Brady in the Super Bowl that had the most amount of yards ever recorded in a Super Bowl? Okay, we'll see you. You have to constantly be adapting. You have to constantly be changing things. And it would be a good sign from your ownership if you did. I don't know how we got on Washington. Oh, Eric Bieniemy. So in my opinion, if I was the owner of the Washington Commanders, I would make Eric Bieniemy the head coach. And now we know that he had way more to do with the way that the offense was facilitated, the play calls and what time, basically the entire ecosystem that is the offense. He had way more of a hand in the success of that than what we thought, and what my guy Shady McCoy on Fox Sports Television said. He just said he wasn't ever calling plays or whatever he said. Was now we know. I mean, Sam Howell was leading the league in passing yards. Can we talk about that for a second? With who? Logan Thomas and Scary Terry? Curtis Samuel? Let's be honest with ourselves here. I'm over it. Let's stop beating around the bush. It's if a guy like me in his house, in the corner of his house, knows to make Eric Bieniemy the head coach, what are you doing? Seriously. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. No, and then we get to let's talk about the Ravens and 49ers first, and then I'll end it with the Eagles Giants. So Ravens beat the 49ers in San Francisco 33-19, and there was a lot of talk about who was the MVP of the league. Who's the MVP of the league right now? And in my opinion, before the game, it was Christian McCaffrey. And I think after the game, it's Christian McCaffrey. Sorry. Here's the thing. And I got into it with a friend of mine. Here's the thing. Lamar Jackson was obviously the best player on the field that day. The MVP is a collection of the entire season. And Lamar Jackson's numbers are middle of the pack. Brock Purdy's numbers, even though he threw 4 picks. Now, do I think Brock Purdy was ever the MVP? No. Because he is a byproduct of that system. Now, we can't hold that against him. Had he had won that game in shining fashion, throw for 4 touchdowns instead of 4 picks, and would have beat the Ravens, I think that conversation begins to solidify even more with him possibly winning the MVP. But I want Christian McCaffrey to win it. That's just my personal opinion. And if not, Lamar Jackson. I'll give you that. I'll give you that much. Overall, the totality of the season, Christian McCaffrey, because he is the engine of that powerful, dynamic headache of an offense with all the pre-snap motion. So that's my vote for MVP, and I hope he gets it. Are we the and now do we think any less of the 49ers? I don't think we do. I think that they played the powerhouse of the AFC, which is now the Ravens. And good on them because they lost J.K. Dobbins, they lost Mark Andrews. They're just fighting, excuse me. They're just fighting and fighting and fighting their way through this. And you got to tip your hat to them. And, John Harbaugh has those guys playing unbelievable. So now, what do I think about what happened with the Giants and Eagles? And this is where it all comes to roost. It comes to the top. What do I think about my team right now? It just doesn't look good, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. I have an idea, and here's my idea. I think that what you saw a lot of last year, Jalen Hurts was a designed runner and was a threat in every single game to gash you for 50, 60 yards, 40, 50, 60 yards. We finally had some time off. We played a home game. We just got done traveling across the country. We're at home. He's well rested. You saw them try to input more of them. And I don't know if there's any top-down pressure from the owner saying, hey, we need to keep him healthy. I just spent $250 million. And honestly, if I did, I probably would have the same conversation. But then if I was the head coach, my rebuttal would be, but with all due respect, Mr. Lurie, that is what made us who we were last year and made us 3 points away from winning the Super Bowl. Because when you have the read option and you have a viable option at quarterback to gash you and you have to respect it, it makes the linebackers play honest and maybe even have to hold a QB spy. You can do it. You can manipulate the offense to kind of counter to your QB option, him being able to run. So am I any more confident in the Eagles after that game? I'm glad we got a win. The Giants always play us. And you have to think, this is what happens. This is what happens when you go to the Super Bowl. You get everyone's best shot. You get everyone's best shot in the league. And it's such a testament to what the Patriots did back then because every year, every game, they're getting the best shot of every team. It's like you're not playing the Cardinals. The Titans have been playing heavy, but for years before Mike Vrabel got there, you're not playing a trash organization where you kind of go in there. No, you're playing the New England Patriots. You're playing the Philadelphia Eagles who just went to the Super Bowl. You're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to get everyone's best shot. And it's just the nature of the beast when you get to the upper echelon of the league. You get everyone's best shot. So it's not like a normal Sunday. Well, every Sunday they're playing as hard as they can. I don't buy that, man. Especially at the later end of the season. And there's a rivalry. It's the NFC East. We always play each other hard. We always do. So am I more confident in the Eagles? I can't say that I'm more confident. You know what's going to make me more confident? If they run the fucking ball. And I mean run it. 20 carries, 25 carries. I want Jalen Hurts to throw 23 passes. Seriously, maybe more. Or what I'm saying is more run plays. We have the best offensive line in football. Our left tackle, Jordan Mailata, go look up tape on this guy. Old rugby player from New Zealand. He's an animal. And here's a hot, maybe the hottest take I've had in my 4 episodes. More NFL GMs need to go to professional rugby games and watch and see if they like anything that they see and approach them after the game. Because this guy's an all-pro. 6'9", 325 pounds, 350 pounds, left tackle with the reach of Mr. Fantastic. I'm telling you, watch some tape on this guy. And we got him so late in the draft. I don't even want to know what his contract's going to be like. And I'm so thankful. We have to start thinking outside of the box here as organizations. Go to soccer games and see if they can get a kicker. Look at Brandon Aubrey from Dallas. Sets a rookie record. Old soccer player from Notre Dame. We got to start thinking out of the box here. Go to some rugby games. Go to some soccer games. We're already in Europe. If any GMs or scouts during that time they're there, go check them out. That's what I would do if I was I'm just trying to think outside the box, you know? But yeah, so I don't know if the mic went out.
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties with the mic, so we're going to end it. But yeah, I wish I had more to say about the Eagles right now. They leave me perplexed. We'll see. I want to see how they're going to act in the playoffs. They should close out these next 2 games, get the 2nd seed, and we'll be good there. And we need to put our best foot forward, and we need to run the fucking ball. And hey, also, just to end the episode, got to give a shout out. Christmas present from Jessica and Donnie. Man, this is cool. Limited edition bag with it on. Got some Crown Royal. So cheers to the 4th episode. Ooh. I ain't built like I used to be. Ooh, man. Some might even call me soft. That's okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. 4th episode of the B-Cohn special. So thankful for the subscribers. Hit that like and subscribe button. Shoot this to your friends that just want to hear something while they're in the car driving, wherever this takes you. If you're on a run, if you're on a walk, hopefully I'm part of your day. We're going to keep this thing going, man. We're going to keep it going. So, adios, amigos. Till next time.